Good morning, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your snow day. I wanted to post this video really quick, just to make sure that you guys have a chance to go through this review, and I'll kind of go through all the problems, just in case there's anything that you got stuck on, and hopefully it'll help us out whenever we come back to school and get ready for this quiz here. So let's go ahead and get started with it really quick. Number one. If you look at it, that one that says fog right here, okay, we're doing f of g of x. All right, this is going to look really crappy because I'm trying to do it on my home computer. But when we do this f of g of x right here, we are taking that first one. This is going to be the hardest part of this whole thing. We're taking that g of x, throwing it on into the f of x, right? So it's going to look like 2, and instead of x next to it, we'll have an x plus 2 over 7. And then we have a minus 7 coming after it. Now, we know what we need to do with this. All right, we need to first of all check and see, can we cancel some stuff out? That 2 and this 2 that's on the outside here and that 7 down there, those can't cancel because they're not the same number, right? So we're going to take this 2, distribute it to everything up top. So it's going to look like 2x plus 4 over 7, and then we have minus 7 after that. All right, so when we go to simplify this, we're going to need to combine these together, all right? So really, that 7 is 7 over 1. And if we want to get these to combine, we need common denominators. So we need to get that 1 to look like a 7. So we're going to multiply it by 7 on the bottom, but we also have to do that to the top. So it's going to look like 2x plus 4 over 7 minus 49 over 7. Man, this looks horrible. All right, so now that they're together, we could put them together in one fraction, and that's going to have a 7 in your denominator. So combine everything up top. So we have a 2x, doesn't combine with anything. And then a plus 4 and a minus 49 makes it a minus 45. And that is our answer for part A. Okay. So now the second part of this, all right, second part, g of f of x, I'm going to erase all this stuff up top. Let's kind of section this off. So g of f of x now, oh my God, oh my goodness. Come on. G of f of x, man, I thought the board at school hated me. So we got g of f of x, taking that f of x one here, that 2x minus 7, throwing it on in for the x. So it's going to look like 2x minus 7 getting plugged in, plus 2, and that's all inside that fraction over 7. So we need to go ahead and combine the like terms on the top. So that's going to really become a 2x, and then we have a minus 7 plus 2, which is going to combine to a minus 5, all over 7. Nothing else we could do there. So that's what we're going to have as our simplified answer. So are these inverses? The answer is no. And remember, the reason is both of these answers for A and B, if they were going to be inverses, they would have to just come out to be a plain old x. Okay? If you get an x here and an x there, that would tell us that they're inverses. Otherwise, no dice. No deal. All right. Let's scroll down a little bit now to number 2. All right, we did part C in class, so I will be posting like just the exact answers, the answer key. But we know that our graph's it kind of looked, just to save us a little bit of time, I don't want to make this video very long, or else everyone's going to get more bored than already you might be. But we would end up with a line that looks a little bit like that. So as a reminder, for A and B, when you're finding the inverse, it starts like this, okay? We change that out with a y. All right, that f of x is really just a y. So y equals 9x plus 3. Goodness gracious. All right, switch them out. Switch out the x and the y. Interchange them. So it's going to be x equals 9y plus 3. And then we just want to solve for the y. Oh my gosh. So So minus 3 on both sides. So that's going to give us x minus 3 is equal to 9y. And then we divide both sides by 9. So we'll get a y equals x minus 3 over 9. All right, and then all of this, yeah, that's smart. Highlight it in. Now let's just do this. All of that would go on this line right here, okay? So that would be our final answer. Once you get the y by itself, that's what f of negative 1 equals. I'm sorry, f inverse. So to get to this next one, all right, same idea. It's y equals x to the third plus 4. Switch it around. So x equals y to the third plus 4. Subtract 4 on both sides, so we get x minus 4 is equal to y to the third power. And then we need to get rid of that cube right here, so we have to do the cube root. All right, throw that little 3 inside of here to cancel out that third power. So we would end up with the third root, the cube root of x minus 4. And that is our inverse function. Okay. All right. These next two, these are distance formula problems. So make sure that you have your distance formula. All right. Distance equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So as we go through to plug these in, we know that we have an x1 and a y1. We have an x2 and a y2. And now we just want to plug them in places where they belong. So x2 minus x1 is going to be 14 minus 2 squared. This is a piece of garbage. Plus 8 minus 3 squared. Altogether, that becomes a 12 in the first part, 12 squared, plus 8 minus 3 is 5 squared. So the square root of 144 plus 25 is really the square root of 169. And what you need to do with that, once you take if you were to break this down with the factor tree, you would actually come up with 169. It's kind of a tough one, but it comes out to 13 and 13. And that tells us it's a perfect square. Okay, if you actually went and tried to take the square root of 169 in your calculator, you would get just 13. So that means for this answer, we have 13 as our radical answer and the decimal answer, because there's no decimal actually. All right, so moving over to number 4, same thing, okay? x2 minus x1, so negative 4 minus negative 6 squared plus y2 minus y1, so y2. I've just screwed that entire thing up. Look at that. That's what happens when you try to do everything the right way. x2 minus x1 is 3 minus negative 2, nincompoop, plus, then we go the negative 4, the y2 minus y1, negative 6. Honestly, if I had left it the way it was, it would have been fine. Okay, the y part of it and the x part of it, you could really do the same thing. It doesn't really matter. Okay, but I want to stick with the way we do it. So 3 minus a negative 2 actually comes out to a 5. Negative 4 minus negative 6 becomes a positive 2. So when we simplify everything, that's a 25, and that's a 4 when we square each number, and we get the square root of 29. All right, if you go trying to factor tree 29, you're going to come up with nothing. All right, nothing actually goes into 29. It's a perfect, it's a prime number. So the square root of 29 is our simplified radical answer. All right. And then our decimal answer, I don't have a calculator nearby, but I believe it's about 5.38, if I remember what I wrote down on the previous thing. Okay, are we going to write a 5, or what are we doing here? Stupid marker. All right. The next two is midpoint stuff. Okay, so our midpoint formula, we know it goes like this. It goes x1 plus x2 divided by 2. And we have y1 plus y2 divided by 2, even though it doesn't look like it because this thing is a piece of crap. So, oh my gosh. This is becoming more of a pain than it's worth. So, x1 plus x2 is 6 plus 2 divided by 2, 2. And then 8 plus 4 divided by 2. Okay, 6 plus 2 is 8 on the top of the left side over 2. And then 8 plus 4 is a 12. And we're dividing by 2, which leaves us with a final answer. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. And there's our midpoint. Okay, and then we do the number 6 here. So negative 3 is our x1 plus our x2, which is 6, divided by 2. And then negative 4 plus negative 8 divided by 2. All right, so we simplify a little bit. Negative 3 plus 6 makes 3. Divide that by 2. Negative 4 plus negative 8 is a negative 12. You divide that by 2. Leaves us with 1.5, or you could leave it as 3 over 2. That's fine. But negative 12 divided by 2 gives us a negative 6. Okay, lastly, on this first page with the circle stuff, we know that the equation of a circle goes x minus h, which is the first coordinate of our center, plus y minus k, the second coordinate, squared, equals a radius squared. So with the first one that's got the zeros, what we're really looking at, it's x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 7 squared. But we know that that's not our final answer. We need to simplify it a little bit. X minus 0 is just x. So that's really just x squared. Plus the second part, y minus 0 is just y. So that's y squared. Why can't I write it 2? What the heck? And then on the other side, 7 squared is 49. And that's our answer. Okay, so then when we have actual numbers in place for the next one, it's x minus h, which is negative 1, squared, plus y minus 4 squared equals 2 squared. So this first part, x minus negative 1, really is just x plus 1 squared. Plus the second part, it says y minus 4. Well, that's just going to stay as y minus 4 squared. And then on the other side, 2 squared is 4. And that's our final answer here. So the last one that we have is on number 9. All right, so picking up on the little shortcuts here, when we plug in the center points into our formula, it's essentially just the opposite sign. So if we kind of shortcut it a little, we have x. If that's a negative 3, that's really going to be a plus 3 inside the formula. And then the other side is a negative 1, so it's a y plus 1. squared equals the radius, the square root of 11 squared. That's supposed to be a 2. I don't know what's going on. But when we actually go through and try to get a final answer out of this guy, when we do the square root of 11 squared, that's just going to be 11 because the square root and the square cancel out, which will leave you with x plus 3 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 11. I promise you that I'm posting the, actually at this point I think I already have, posting the actual answer key, and it's a little bit neater than this crap, but hopefully this is being helpful. So a little bit of stuff on the back, okay, it's a little bit of graphing. Lord knows this is going to be rough, but to find the center, we're working on finding the center, the radius, and then the domain and range of our graphs for the back part. So using the numbers from the formula, we take the opposite sign, so positive 3 and negative 1 is our center. And then for the radius, you take the square root of that number on the other side, square root of 4, which is just 2. Okay, and then let's move down just a touch here. To graph it, 3 and negative 1, there's our center point. And then go 2 spaces each way. So up 2, down 2, left 2, right 2, and then try your best to make a circle. Our domain and range is just going to be from that graph. Okay, for our domain, look at left to right. The left point, it goes from 1 all the way over here to 5. And then our range, it goes all the way down to negative 3 on the x-axis, but it goes all the way up to 1. And that's our graph. Move this up a little so I can still see the equations. Okay, and then number 11, x squared and y squared, there's no numbers there, so we know that that means 0, 0. Looks like a face. And then the radius, we take the square root of 16, which is just 4. And then so to plot our circle, center's at 0, 0. You go 4 spaces each way. Make a better circle than what I made. And then your domain and range, just like before, the left to the right, it goes from negative 4 all the way to 4 on the graph. And then on the range, you're looking at the y-axis, it goes from negative 4 up to positive 4 also. All right, last one of these. I'm going to change up the color a little bit. So negative 7 and positive 6 is our center because of the opposite signs. The square root of 9 leaves us with 3 as our radius. So negative 7 and positive 6 is going to be all the way over here. You go 3 spaces each way to graph the circle. So your domain, it goes from negative 10 to negative 4. And then the range, it goes as low as 3 and as high as 9. Whew! All right. Last part. Last question. Okay? Very last question. It uses all the stuff that we... Oh, geez. It uses all the stuff that we just did here, okay? So, what happened? We have a circle, and we have the endpoints of the diameter. So we need to figure out the center, which means we need to find its midpoint. So that's our midpoint formula from the other page. x1 plus x2. So 3 plus 5 divided by 2. And then y1 plus y2 is 6 plus 4 divided by 2. Okay, using those coordinates. All right, 3 plus 5 is 8. So when we divide that by 2, it gives us a 4. Okay, so that's an 8 there. I'm just trying to shorten this up a little. And then 6 plus 4 gives us 10. So 10 divided by 2 gives us a 5. That's our center. That's part A. Done. Now for part B, we're finding the radius, which means we're finding the distance from the center to one of those points. Okay, so we're going to use our center, maybe. Oh wait, actually wrote it. Our center is 4, 5 from this answer. And let's use one of the other points. Let's go 3. My God. 6. This sucks. All right, so let's use our distance formula. So y2 minus y1, 3 minus 4 squared plus y2 minus y1, 6 minus 5. Did I say that the first time? I meant x2 minus x1 for the first part. Apparently I need more coffee. So simplify that. You get a negative 1 squared plus positive 1 squared. Negative 1 squared is just 1. 1 squared is also just 1, which leaves us with the square root of 2 as our radius. So then lastly, for part C, we just take our answers from A and B, and we write the equation of the circle. Okay? So x, move up a little bit. So we have a positive 4, so it's going to be x minus 4 squared plus, we have a 5, positive 5, so y minus 5 squared equals the square root of 2 squared, which we know is just going to be 2. So our final answer I'm going to write here, x minus 4 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals, something happened to our 2, but there it is. Okay, wonderful. All right, so I'm not sure when I'll see you guys again, either tomorrow or Monday, but I wanted to throw this out there to help you guys out and get us ready for getting out of this chapter. So nice job, everyone, and I will catch you the next time.